Hi guys. Okay, so it is early May and it is finally time to start transplanting some of my seedlings. Now I know normally I would have put up another update on my cold frames, but I really need to start getting things in the ground. So today I am going to show you guys how I am transplanting the first of my crops. And the first one that we are doing is a sunflower. Okay, a couple things that you guys may notice. These guys are really, really tall, really, really skinny, and really quite wobbly. Well, they got leggy. I'm not entirely sure why they did. They were doing great in the cold frame. This guy got chewed off during the hardening off period. I'm not entirely sure what happened to him. Something attacked him. We're just gonna... Come on. Pinch him out of there. But I did a little bit of research on this, and from what I found, this is not going to be too bad. I found that you can bury these guys deep, so I am going to probably bury them to about here. Was that even in frame? Oh god, I hope so. I'm going to bury these guys deep to about here to hopefully give them a stronger stem so they won't be quite so flippy-floppy in the wind. And another thing I wanted to point out is, for some reason, this guy here, can you see that? This guy right here, his stem split. He's still alive, he's still growing, this doesn't seem to be adversely affecting him. I don't know why that happened, but we are going to see if it affects him. I'm not going to separate out these two. I'm going to plant them both in the same square and see what happens. All right, and let's start doing that. So I got my plants here. This is the spot that I'm going to plant on, this little square right here. I've got my shovel, I've got my rake. Hopefully you can see those. All right, and the first thing I'm going to do is I am just going to scrape away this top layer of mulch. Just move it into the next door square. Bada boom, bada bam. I'm gonna kind of loosen it up a little with the tines, not very much. And I am going to loosen up the entire square because I did something in my garden to help me with water retention. I buried a ton of logs all throughout my garden, but I made a mistake while doing it, and so they aren't buried as deep as you would normally want them. It's a method called hugelkultur. I'll explain it in a future video if you guys are interested in that. But I'm going to loosen up the entire thing. I'm going to loosen up the whole square of soil. Move all the dirt a little off to the side. I'm actually not even going to need my shovel because the soil is so shallow. And what we're going to do to plant these guys deep is quite simple. I'm going to pull out the tag. I'm going to squeeze the container a little bit. Remember, whenever transplanting seedlings, always hold them like this. Never like this. Always like this. Turn the pot over. Do a little bit of squishy squishy. Pokey pokey. And wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, these guys were most definitely ready to be transplanted. Oh my goodness, they are root bound. I may have waited too long for these. I'm just going to poke around in the roots a little bit, loosen them up, kind of poke around, gently just kind of separate them. And now to plant them, what I'm going to do, did you see the roots a close-up? Here is a close-up of the root ball. As you can see, very healthy, very high growth, is slightly root bound. Really should make sure that you guys can see this, huh? Still getting the hang of this whole filming thing, even after a year. Oh well. Slow learner, I guess, for some things. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, normally, some people would just put them in like this, just straight down into the soil. But since I don't have enough soil room to do that, I'm actually going to lay them down and utilize the curvature that's already in the stem and lay them flat like that. I hope you can see that. I hope that's all in frame. I'm going to lay them like that and bury them. And I'm actually going to turn them so that they're coming up in different areas of the soil. And we're just going to see how it goes. It's an experiment. So first things first, pinch off the seedling leaves. Pinch those off real gentle. Don't want to snap the stem. All right. And now we're just going to place that right there. Place one of them there. Bury the root ball. Get the stems situated. Rough abouts where I want them. I know this looks a little bit brutal, but that's all right. Being a little brutal with your seedlings is okay as long as you don't kill them. In fact, in many cases, being a little bit on the rough-handed side might help your seedlings in the long run. All right. And that is that. 2 sunflowers in the ground, ready to go. I'm gonna shove the plant marker in right there, like that. And as for the mulch I pulled out, there's not a lot of it, but I will spread it out. And I will fetch, so actually, I went and grabbed some extra mulch from another part of my garden. We're just gonna spread that all along here. I'm not gonna water this because we are expecting a ton of rain over the next couple of days. So I'm not gonna water them in because nature will take care of that. And voila. Sunflowers in, and hopefully they do well. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully they do all right. I've never planted a sunflower deep before, so this is an experiment for me. And as for the little guys, as for the seedling leaves, I pinched off of them. I'm just going to throw these in my compost. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video on how to transplant leggy sunflowers. If you've ever done this before, let me know. Let me know how it went for you. Let me know if you're growing any sunflowers this year. If you like this video, please leave me a like, comment with any questions or suggestions that you may have, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.